Hello and welcome to another Rose Guns Days episode. I don't know how time flies this fast, but it does, and we're back with episode 2 this time. Hello, Kat. How are you doing? Also, happy Baldur's Gate 3 Day to all of you who celebrate. I just bought the game, and I will be playing that later in my own dang time. Not today later, but tomorrow. I forgot how loud this game is, so I'm just gonna turn it down a bit. Here we go, that ought to do it. It's looking hype? Nice. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing it. I got some friends that I'm gonna be playing with, so I won't have to sort through all the sensory overload stuff myself. I can just sort of go with the flow and have them kind of figure out where to go next and who to talk to and all that jazz. Oh, okay. That's a good strategy. Let me know what you think if you feel like it later. And also, I demand a screenshot of your characters. You can just post them in the Discord if you want. If you want. If you don't, then it's okay too, of course. Anyway. Yeah. I like looking at other people's D&D/game characters, whichever ones you're willing to share. Please do share. But yes. Last time on Rose Guns Days, we had some good news. Rose is okay and safe. She's with Meiji. Not only that, but so are Meryl and Stella and Richard and Cyrus and Leo. So hey, great news. We also have some bad news, though, which is Wayne and Claudia are both in Caleb's hands, with Miguel about to, like, interrogate them, which clearly does not bode well. We all know this. There's also a good chance that Meiju's going to sell them out at some point. So, not the best start to a new season. But they're working on a plan. They're gonna try to rescue Wayne and Claudia. Did I say there's a chance that Major will betray them? Because he's about to, because his plan is to assassinate Claudia and Wayne instead. So, it's not looking too good for those two. But, you know, he might have a change of heart. He might. Maybe, please? I don't know, I hope he does. He wants to feed them to his pet iguana? Yeah. They have done nothing to deserve that though, so I hope that doesn't happen. That would be awful. Before I forget, here's our content warnings for this series. Well, that's interesting. Normally that works. Hello, Stream Elements? Hello? Stream Elements. That's weird. That should work. Let me just try that again. Beans. It's not working at all. Odd. Very odd. Well, I'll read them to you and I'll add them to the YouTube video in post. Which means that the timer will probably also not work, because that's all the same system. Yeah, I definitely have it by memory, because I thought, well, maybe I spelled it wrong, right? Nope. I do that entirely by muscle memory, without even looking at my keyboard. Anyway, content warning for Rose Gun's Days. Violence, gun violence, racism, sexual content including references to assault, misogyny, alcohol abuse. This is a pretty hefty list. If any of that already makes you go like, nope. Totally fair. If you want some more info about specific warnings, I post these episodes to my YouTube channel every week, and if there's a need for a more specific warning, I add them in the description of the video. If there's nothing there, that means that there's no need that I can discern for another warning. If I ever miss any, by the way, feel free to tell me, because then I'll just add them, and I'll make sure to add them in the future. And also, I'm sorry for not being aware of having to add that in advance. So I try to be careful with these things. But yeah, I'm going in blind into this series, so I don't know what's going to happen until after we've completed the episode. That's why the YouTube warnings are more accurate to what's happening in the show. Show? Yeah, this is my show now, but I mean the game. So yeah, with that out of the way, this is the save game. Thank goodness they have timers. Not timers, but time stamps. Because otherwise, I would be in trouble. Oh, okay. I forgot about the golden eagle with 2 guns. Forgot about that entirely. Alright, here's some dialogue that I can't read.
Cyrus-kun, give it all you've got.
You got it. Still got lots of fight left in me. What is happening?
Hey, look out! Come on, be careful! His opponent moves well. He keeps sliding from blind spot to blind spot.
Are they like sparring? Damn it! Stop swaying about! They were having a sparring contest with Meiji's underlings underneath the restaurant. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the secret base underneath Meiji's restaurant. There's a secret base. It was a friendly match to blow off stress. Not a fight, but things kept heating up. A Chinese walk that was being used in place of a gong rang out, signaling the end of the final round. A splendid performance from both sides. Cyrus-san, how strong you are. Well, that was a tough fight. I apologize in advance for all the names I'm gonna probably not pronounce very well. Because I don't know how to pronounce them. Hunpa is really a force to be reckoned with. Cyrus shook hands with and hugged his opponent and came back. The men were burning with enthusiasm, each yearning to fight next. It's times like this that I curse my body's frailty.
Enough of that, brother. We don't need you forgetting your age and getting yourself hurt. Now even I'd like to have a go. Anyone want to fight me?
Well, if you think I'm doing a good job, then that's enough for me.
Hold on, Meryl. You can't do that. What if you got hurt?
My. Looks like they're pretty excited over here.
Seems the next challenger has stepped up.
I'll pass. Already fought with 3 guys. Let me take a break.
That means it's my turn, right? I'll do it. I said no. Sheesh. Trying to act more like a lady, Meryl.
I'll let her fight. You mean? The next challenger pointed at Leo and challenged him to come forward. Leo didn't feel like fighting, but he knew that refusing would ruin the atmosphere here. I mean, he could just fight Meryl. You know, she'd probably win. What do you say, Madam Rose? If you order it, I could show off a bit.
Sure. Good luck, Leokin.
Leo loosened up his shoulders and stepped forward. This opponent was largely built and seemed to have confidence in his offensive and defensive strength. Pleased to meet you. Let's enjoy our match. Oh. The opponent talked in Chinese. It sounds like... this reads like they're laughing at him, or this guy is at least. 'Cause I think I remember one of these I don't know what they're called in Chinese. I know they're kanji in Japanese, but anyway, I recognize some of them from when they were laughing last time. I forgot about his bullet wound, actually. He should be careful, you're right. What are they saying? He's telling you to come at him first.
He's trying to provoke you. He's calling you weak. Leokun isn't weak at all. What a rude person.
This man is a bit on the impudent side. He has caused me much trouble as well. Leo-san, if you would teach this man a lesson, I would be much obliged. The opponent. Talk some more? I've even gotten permission from your boss. Wanna have a go? Sounds like a yes? Okay, then I guess I'll start. Leo slowly removed his jacket and rotated his shoulders. Then, he tossed his jacket aside. In the instant it drifted to the ground, he kicked off the floor. Oh shit. That was close. At least I was more prepared than last time. Oh. It all happened in an instant. The large Chinese man's body flew through the air and smashed against the wall. He'd apparently received a concussion, and he lay spread-eagled on the ground, staring at the ceiling with his eyes unfocused. That's dangerous. And there were no cheers. Everyone was dumbfounded and lost for words. And so, his applause consisted of only one person. So this is the skill that defeated Alfred one-on-one, and which even Caleb desired so much. You surpass even the rumors, Leo Shishigami-san. And I've heard from Stella. You may be young, but I hear you're pretty good yourself. The Black Dragon of the Golden Dragon Society, Lee Meiji. A man who made his name as a young but capable assassin who had defeated the leaders of rival organizations with rapid speed. He was now a highly ranked member of the organization and had subordinates under him that his edge had not dulled in the slightest. Silence. No one is stepping forward to be your next opponent. It seems there is no helping it. In that case, I will be your final opponent. Oh shit. Meiju smiled thinly, gave the iguana on his shoulder to a subordinate, and removed his jacket. Then, with a flexible motion, he did what looked like a Quanfa movement. He moves well. Crap.
That's Higuacan.
There's no way of pronouncing this right. I am so sorry. I know for a fact that I'm doing this wrong because I have watched like Chinese TV shows, and it does not sound like what I'm saying right now. So I'm just gonna keep trucking.
No, that just now was Ajiquan. Is that strong? Piguaquan treats the body like a whip, specializing in long-distance fighting. Ajiquan, on the other hand, treats the body like a boulder, specializing in short-range fighting. So, basically you're saying he's strong with no weak points.
People age when they stop moving their bodies. That's true. That is not bad. I can feel the youth returning to my arms and legs.
Liu-kun.
I can win. I've got something decisive he doesn't have.
Huh?
Cute girls cheering me on. He's really ramped up the flirting since last episode, huh? Out with a charm, yeah. Leo and Meiju slowly approached each other. Though the two men were burning with pre-fight enthusiasm, the crowd watching over them fell silent, as though numbed by a quiet tension. Please go easy on me. Hey, Meiju-san. This is just for fun, right? But of course. However, it means a bit more than that to me. Is Primavera truly a dragon worthy of our protection, or not? That is the question. I see. Then there's something I've got to test too. Oh? Let's see if oolong tea tastes even better after a workout. In that case, let us begin our respective tests. He's very chill about this. I better do my best. No! Oh, that was close.
Yeah.
This is a long fight. Not bad, not bad. Silk golden eagle, 2 guns. The fists of the pair crossed, and just before they smashed into vital areas, they froze as though time had stopped. Leo's fists stopped the very instant it would have crushed the tip of Meiju's nose. Meiju's hand had stopped in a hammer fist just before crushing Leo's neck. In other words, it was a draw. They were evenly matched. Splendidly done. It is a draw. Or rather, it is my loss. With our respective positions, you would have been slightly faster and hit me. Your talent is remarkable. I wish we could have put each other to the test when I was a bit younger. Well then, perhaps it is time to shower. And then we can have some tea. Meiju laughed refreshingly and left. His underlings were still shooting looks of fear and respect at each other, both for their boss's keen, unrivaled skills, and for Leo, who was able to fight the other to a draw.
Leo-kun, that was incredible. You managed to fight him to a draw.
A draw? Nothing of the sort. I lost.
Why? Like Major-san said, if you'd hit each other at that rate, I'll bet you'd have the advantage in power, right?
No, that's not it. If this had been a real battle, I'd have been finished just before my fist hit him.
What do you mean?
Meiju's last attack wasn't meant to hit with a fist. Meiju probably fights with concealed weapons. If his hand had been holding a skewer of some kind, my throat would already be nicely gutted by now.
That's Leo for you. To be able to penetrate so far. What?
What does that mean in this context? What does that mean in this context? Like, I'm sure she means something like, oh, to be able to see through, like, your opponent's skills and what his fighting style would be. But I don't think you'd normally use that word to... in that kind of... That's not... Okay. We're just gonna move on. I've heard rumors too. Rumors that he's a master of assassination techniques that could kill an opponent with a single needle. And he's also a gentleman, with a clever brain on top of it all. Meiju-san certainly isn't a man to be taken lightly. You'd have to be someone like that to oversee so many people. Meiju-san's scary. Just a little bit.
Still, both you and Meiju-san went a little too far. How could you fight so seriously, even though it should have been a bit of fun?
That's what happens when a couple of boys play around. It has been a long time since I've had my childhood reawakened, so I found it quite enjoyable. Leo and Meiju laughed loudly. Rose put a band-aid on Leo's scraped arm. Next to the bullet wound, Meiju had just received Rose's treatment a moment ago. And though the final fatal blows had stopped a hair before connecting, they had exchanged several fierce hits before that. Of course, they hadn't made it out unwounded. However, the two of them were laughing happily together. One could hardly call that fierce. Leo-san went very easy on me. You're the one who took it easy. In a real battle, I would have been killed. If you notice that, it seems I have dulled considerably. The next time we fight, let's make it cards or mahjong. That would be most agreeable. Meiji was not a fighter, but a killer. It was hard for him to show his true potential in a contest that didn't have killing your opponent as its goal. However, it was the same for Leo. He couldn't afford to shame the man who was keeping them hidden. He had just barely held back, not wanting to land a decisive blow. Both of them understood all of this. Surely, they had reached an understanding that only a pair of powerful people could reach. At that point, some of Meiju's underlings came in and prepared some tea. Come, let us have some tea.
Oh, I'll serve it.
Smells nice. I'm pretty fond of the smell of Chinese tea. Chinese tea is the most delicious in the world.
For our next challenge, we should have a Chinese-Japanese tea showdown.
Or let China take the win there. Japanese tea's got too many rules just to take a single sip. How interesting the Japanese are. They demand rigid rules even for time spent drinking tea, which ought to be relaxing. The pair who had sweated together peacefully drank their tea. Rose had been anxious when they were fighting, but now she decided that this must be one way men interact with each other. The conversation gradually drifted to the differences between Japanese and Chinese culture. There is a proverb that the Chinese are dragons by themselves, but pigs when they gather together.
What does that mean?
Of course, it means that that Chinese people excel individually. However, unfortunately, it also means that when those dragons gather together, they decay and become pigs. I was just about to say, that's some pretty harsh self-criticism. History tells one a lot about our people. Chinese history is a constant repeat of single heroes toppling tyranny, establishing a dynasty and degrading into tyranny once more. Isn't that just how people in power work, though? I feel like that's kind of like a universal human race thing. Just look at all the billionaires, you know? However, no matter how terrible that government may become, a dragon will always rise from the Chinese people to crush it. Hate the rich.
You're a very resilient people, aren't you?
We Chinese are the descendants and offspring of dragons. And there is a dragon sleeping in the blood of every Chinese person. And so, when the world crumbles and the heavens demand a hero, there will always be someone who receives a revelation and rises, becoming a dragon.
Have you ever received a revelation like that, Meiju-san?
I have not yet. However, the dragon's blood sleeps. I am prepared to become a dragon at any moment, when the time to rise up comes. That is a Chinese person's soul. Rose thought deeply about those words. It felt as though Meiji was saying something very important for her. And there is also a proverb about the Japanese.
What's that?
Wait, was that Meiji saying that? Yes, it was. Just making sure. The Japanese are pigs by themselves, but dragons when they gather together. Oh, did you know that one?
So, you're saying the Japanese are the opposite of the Chinese?
The Japanese people excel when acting as a group. They raise their dragon-like ideals and fulfill their goals with dragon-like power. However, even dragons lose their way, and they decay. We happened to win the Russo-Japanese War and got too full of ourselves. Having confidence is a good thing. excuse me, a good thing. However, you were too enamored with yourselves. You began to conceitedly think of yourselves as the most superior race in Asia, and the curtain rose on the Second Sino-Japanese War. I'm assuming on the pronunciation of that because I've only ever seen that written down and never pronounced out loud. If we were really so superior, we wouldn't have lost the war thanks to some natural disaster. The fact we lost probably proves that we were full of it. That your country lost its way is no cause for shame. You like to say Sino like rhino? Oh, okay. I'll go Google that later, in case it comes up again though. Because they might both be wrong, I don't know. Only one way to find out, and that's to go to Google. Even Chinese history is simply filled with corrupt dynasties. That the prosperous must inevitably decay is a simple fact of nature. The problem is that, during such times, individual Japanese people were pigs. Pigs. In China, whenever a dynasty is corrupted, a dragon arises from the individuals and rights the world. However, in Japan, the individuals are pigs, so no one tries to correct their country's errors and the whole nation crumbles. That's pretty harsh. When we Chinese ask the Japanese whether or not they feel responsible for the war, the Japanese always answer the same way. We were simply taken advantage of by our country. We are victims too. Is that not strange? The country is merely a collection of Japanese people. And yet, it was the country that was at fault, not any one of the individuals. And then the Japanese will say this: it was an abnormal time. We had no choice but to obey. While they realized it was an abnormal time, they did nothing to correct it. They lazily obeyed, and so they say it was the country in the wrong, not them. That is what it means to say that the Japanese are pigs on their own. I fought for the sake of the justice I believed in. I've never taken any action against the judgment of my conscience. If there's something I do regret, it's only that I couldn't sacrifice myself for that purpose. You asked me to throw away my life right now in exchange for the justice I believe in. That'd suit me just fine. I'm always prepared for death. Leah! Leah, you sound like Wayne right now. Stop it. If you can say it so boldly, then perhaps I can still accept your words. You set yourself apart from those foolish Japanese who always place the blame on their country and hide from responsibility. And there is only one thing that we Chinese would like to say to the Japanese. You can have a little edge as a treat.
What's that?
Don't play the victim after choosing to be a pig. It makes us sick. Don't say you had nothing to do with it because the country was at fault. We would like you to take bold responsibility for the ideals you have announced as a dragon. That is all. Rose hung her head, stunned into silence. Meiju's words reverberated through her head, over and over. Don't play the victim after choosing to be a pig. When her countrymen were suffering under Caleb's rampage, hadn't she been a pig? And wasn't she herself playing the victim, even after choosing to be a pig? Rose, you were a literal actual victim, though, of kidnapping, and I'm. Someone give this girl some confidence. It's, go buy her some confidence, please. We would like you to take bold responsibility for the ideals you've announced as a dragon. Yeah, at no point did she choose to do nothing when she saw that other people were suffering. That never happened. That never happened. And anything she had agency of, like, anytime she had the choice to help other people, she did. So, girl's gotta be nicer to herself. I received my position as Primavera's madam, and gained the ability to do as I please with a great quantity of money and power, the dragon's power. I announced my dragon's ideal, my desire to revive the community of my countrymen. I still haven't tried to take any responsibility for voicing those views. That Wayne and Claudia were caught is practically my fault. I may have boldly said that I would rescue them no matter what, but I still haven't done anything. How can I be sitting around, letting myself be protected while drinking tea and chatting happily? Those words were heavy. Okay, I kinda get it now. I was Primavera's madam, a dragon, so those words were heavy. That's why all of those businessmen followed me, and that's why they were harassed by the Caleb family. And yet I, even with my dragon's ideals of protecting them, remained a pig, unable to do anything. Responsibility or ideals? What is responsibility? Should I apologize and slice open my own chest? No. That can't be all that responsibility means. It's got to mean the duties I ought to accept for voicing those views. When you say I'll do it, you have a duty to see it through. That's what it means to take responsibility for your words. In that case, what duties do I have after saying I want to protect my countrymen? What duties do I have after voicing those ideals? Maju's words echoed through my head, over and over. I must become a dragon. A dragon. Rose, do you want some more tea? Huh? Yeah, she would need political power to protect as many people as possible, for sure. Rose stared blankly at Leo. She looked like someone who'd fallen asleep without meaning to, and who was confused after being suddenly awoken.
I'm sorry, Leo-kun. I guess I was tired.
Maybe I'm getting a cold. I felt a bit dizzy. Maybe the strange scent of the incense in this room doesn't quite suit me. Maybe you're...
Sorry. Could I get a refill too?
Of course, miss. Deep breaths, Rose. He said that on purpose, though, didn't he? the tea wasn't poisoned. No, I don't think Meiji would do that. Because he wants to use Rose for power, potentially. So why poison her, you know? Hallucinogenic drugs? Hey, I guess? Okay, honestly, it sounded more like Rose was having a bit of a panic attack. To me, at least. Just the sudden, like, I'm not getting any air kind of feeling. But, well, we're not gonna know unless it's, like, specifically stated, but that's what it sounded like to me. So, and I, honestly, from the look that Major gave after that scene, I'm thinking that he's trying to egg Rose on to do something. Like, to make a move. To try and gain more power. So that they take on Caleb and he can just not just be like, yo, I support you. And not get super involved. I don't know what his plan is, I'll be honest, but maybe after the fight, you know, he changed his mind about Leo and it's like, okay, yeah, y'all are strong. I'm gonna side with you guys now, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's like they have their turf, then they can expand Chinatown. They can get along, you know. And eventually try to elbow the Americans out of the way together, most likely. That is always a risk, that if they gain too much power, then, you know, they become enemies again, right? But, I don't know. I guess we'll find out what his plan is. Meanwhile, Wayne is like, huh? Wayne regained consciousness, his arms still suspended. The sound of cars and many feet approached. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't just one car. There were probably several of them. Here we go. Time to pay the piper. There would probably be one final interrogation performed by some high-ranking members of the family, possibly Caleb himself. If he still refused to talk, death would probably come next. Perfect. I'm going to be killed anyway. Might as well tell them a few lies and watch them dance one last time. Rose-san. See, it sounds like what Leo said earlier. Being able to die for you isn't a bad life. On that day when I should have died in the streets, Rose-san was the one who gave me life. Looks like the time's come to return the life I've received to her. With a heavy sound, the door to the storehouse opened, and many men came in. However, something seemed a little off. None of them showed any interest in Wayne. That moan was coming out of the two large bags the men were carrying. Huh? Wayne felt it immediately. There were probably people inside. The men violently threw the bags down, then opened them. There were people inside after all. They were tied up like caterpillars and even gagged. But just who were they? Wayne had no memory of those two. Judging by their clothes and general appearance, they didn't have any respectable occupation. It looked as though they might... What? Oh, respectable in that... Okay. I don't know why I assumed, like... I took it too literal. I don't know. He meant illegal, of course. Underworld stuff. It looked as though they might be high-ranking members in a family that opposed Caleb. At that moment, the atmosphere suddenly changed, and the crowd of men split to make a path. And at the other end of that path, Caleb appeared. Make it so they can talk.
It won't be any fun to hear them beg for their lives or make excuses, will it?
I want to question them once, at the end. Miguel took out his knife, walked forward, and cut the gags in the bound men's mouths. Oh, it's those. Oh! Oh, I know who these are. This is a misunderstanding, Father. We never planned to betray you.
That's a pretty pathetic way to leave this life, don't you think? Some of your young ones started talking
Long ago. With the same frigid expression, Miguel kicked the man in the gut, over and over. What left you unsatisfied? Try spilling your guts just once, at the end. Giving all the money we collect away to the occupying forces is just stupid. Mans has a point, Caleb. Gathering 100 million and just handing it over to the Americans? Don't make me laugh. You might manage to become the Americans' new pet, but what about our share? How hard do you think we worked to gather up that ridiculous 100 million? This city is finished. You've killed all the hens that lay eggs. We're parasites. You kill the host, we fall with them. They have a point, Caleb. I am aware that we've gone to some very extreme lengths. However, if we can just get our hands on the special offers window that controls work orders, we'll be able to make our war buddies' wages improve. After taking their money, you really think that the Americans will give that special offers window to a Japanese person? An occupying army would never deal with an occupied people like the Japanese. This man has a point, Caleb.
There's no need to take them seriously. They're just making excuses. You trying to save your war buddies with the money you've gathered.
They were trying to take it all for themselves and escape. You're the ones making excuses. In that case, why don't you just hand out that 100 million to your war buddies? Money given away for nothing is worth nothing. If you just hand money out, it'll disappear on pointless things like drink and women. You're one of those types. You're one of those types. God. Can't believe He sucks. I hate that he sucks, but he sucks. Yeah, exactly, one of those types. It's like, oh yes, I should control how other people spend their money. And also, I'm going to ignore the very convenient fact that, not inconvenient fact, sorry, that, you know, having money helps people stay alive and therefore do other things that help them stay, like, come on. Come on. Also, you literally stole the money from people who could have helped those people get work. You literally went after people who could have provided your war buddies with jobs, you absolute buffoon. You clown. You fool. god, it's such a I hate it because he's so wrong, right? But this is such a real type of... This is such a realistic worldview. Or type of worldview. Like, there are absolutely just people who think that this makes sense. Quite a lot of them, and that infuriates me. Oh well. Like, he's so well written, actually. Ugh. It's like, I'm not gonna give you money unless you deserve it by doing a thing that I have decided means you deserve it. You know, like, who died and made you Boy King? I'm actually angry now. Yeah. I am glad that his logic is flawed also, because it makes him more hateable, yes, but also, I mean, he's the bad guy, he shouldn't be perfect. But I do think his worldview is really, like, there are definitely people out there who think this way as well, and it's, I don't know, it's realistic. Like, it's not logical, but it makes sense, if you know what I mean. Like, I get where it comes from, I guess. I take that back, I don't get where it comes from, I don't understand how these people think the way they do, but they exist, that's what I mean. It makes sense in the short term, you're right. And it's also very, like, typical for people in power to kind of assume, like, I know what's best, I know what's better for you than you do, I know how to solve this problem, I gotta do things my way, no other anything is valid, you know? No other stance is valid, I decide what matters, that kind of thinking. Yeah, very black and white thinking, absolutely. Anyway. Okay, just, I'm gonna take a deep breath and let go of my anger. Let go of my anger. Gonna let it all go. I'm gonna try not to think about the real world implications of all this. Gonna let it all go. Okay. Yo. Okay, deep breath. Okay. Money has to be earned in exchange for labor. Buddy! I'm mad again. Caleb, you are a criminal. You don't have a job. You do not have a job, Caleb. This is not labor, Caleb. Who are you judging, Caleb? Look in the mirror, Caleb. Oh my god. Anyway. Sound labor for sound wages and a sound life. That is what we lost in that war, and that is what we should have taken back. Caleb, you don't have a job either, you clown. That's not what he says, I'm sorry. What he actually says is, these guys don't understand no matter how much you tell them. We soldiers fight to protect the livelihood of our homeland. You're literally making it worse. You're not fighting shit. You're not even employed as a soldier anymore. These goons. These absolute goons. That's something worth enough. Worth enough for us to put our lives on the line on the battlefield to protect. That sentence went places that I did not expect, so that came out a little, weird. I'm not gonna read it again. I think that might have Needed some grammatical reshuffling.
And these people think it's worth less than a mere $100 million.
I started to think Miguel is a bad influence.
These people aren't war buddies.
You too. Do you have anything else to say?
You're gonna kill us? Then do it. You dogs, wagging your tails for the Americans after eating your City 23 countrymen alive.
Yes, thank you, Bound Man. Thank you. Bound Man speaking the truth.
We'll be waiting for you in hell.
It's basically cannibalism. You're totally right. Can we applause for Bound Man number 2. Smartest man in the room. Understood. Go there first and wait for us. Kill them.
Didn't even have a face, you're right.
He did have a face, actually. He was a generic goon last time. When Caleb turned to face the other way, the men all pulled out their guns. Immediately, several gunshots rang out. Miguel walked up to the honeycombed pair of men and landed a shot in each of their foreheads.
You should be grateful to Caleb. Since he had you shot to death, he must still have acknowledged you as war buddies.
Sure, bud. Listen up, men. It may be true that Japan surrendered. However, I don't remember us ever surrendering. That's why we're fighting our countrymen now. Because that makes the Uh-huh. This man's very frustrating. Our job, our mission as soldiers, is exactly the same as it once was. Fight for your homeland. Nothing more, nothing less. Yeah, I wish it was worker bees because I love bees, but no. Sadly. Yes, father.
And if anyone doubts that and puts their own self-interest first, I'll kill them. I won't let them die easy like those two. I'll make them hurt first.
We don't forgive traitors.
We don't forgive defeatists.
We finish each other's sentences? I knew they were dating. At that moment, Caleb let out a heavy sigh, closed his eyes, and smiled bitterly. I'm a bit tired. Let's call it a day.
You haven't gotten any rest lately, have you? You should have a good break every once in a while.
Caleb left without saying another word. You're sounding like Team Rocket. When the car with him in it left, Miguel turned to the men and spoke.
You haven't heard of any other traitors, have you? There's no need for it to reach Caleb's ears. I'll take care of everything.
It seems there's a lot of our underlings who feel the same way. People who think the father is trying to suck up the Americans, or who suck up to the Americans even, or who think he's trying to take the money and run.
With the foundation of life in the city on the brink of destruction, Seems quite a few people are worried about their share. We'll probably see more people give up on Caleb and escape to other cities. If Caleb succeeds in his deal with the occupying forces, our way of life will change. When that happens, everything will be roses. Everyone's opinions will change too. They're both looking at him like, oh yeah, but I don't think that's gonna be the case. Which is very funny. Yeah, all the war buddies are gonna ditch, right? At that moment, Miguel's eyes and Wayne's eyes met. Miguel slowly walked towards Wayne. The mad smile he always wore was gone from his face. As Wayne couldn't talk yet. He's a stubborn bastard. He refuses to say anything. I'm the same as Caleb. My body may have been captured, but my soul never surrendered. Even right now, like this, I'm still Rosan's bodyguard. Primavera's bodyguard. Like I'd ever say a single word that might hurt Primavera. You might be a man worthy of respect. Which front were you on during the war? The Japanese front. I survived the blazing city of rubble during the Great Disaster. If you had been on the same battlefield, I'm sure I would have respected you. Wayne hesitated for a moment. Because Miguel wasn't making some sarcastic or snide remark, but was speaking from his heart. We're soldiers. To protect our homeland, we went to the battlefield to die. Because we believed that there was something worth throwing away our lives to protect. The same feelings you hold for Madame Rose are what we felt when we fought for our homeland. That's why I want to make a confession to one as brave as you. I didn't start out being the same as you. At first, I was scared of dying. No one wants to die. You're different. You know that there's something you can protect even if you die. And that's why you aren't afraid of death now. However, I was scared. If my life could be saved, I could have abandoned all of my ideals and claimed goals. For a time, I was a cowardly defeatist like that. Oh. Alright, here's hoping we don't get loud explosions that I have to edit out again. In the jungles of the southern islands, Miguel and the others fought to the death over and over. When the American army advanced with its overwhelming resources, the Japanese lost their supply lines and didn't receive enough food, much less munitions. I can read. I know how words do. If they sat down, they would just starve and die. And yet they had no bullets to shoot. So the only option they were given was to raise their swords one last time and perish in a banzai charge. Surrender was not an option for them. Miguel's unit had decided to die an honorable death by making a night raid on the American beachhead. Though Miguel, known then as Private Kurashiki, shouted bravely with his mouth, he was unable to suppress the fear of death he felt on the inside. Those war buddies shouted banzai, long life, for their country as they attacked. They dashed out into the darkness of the nighttime jungle, raced through the marshland, and struck the American position. If they could pour into the American position under this darkness, the enemy would find it hard to shoot and fear friendly fire. If it came to hand-to-hand combat, they would be fighting on even footing. Those were the words that the squad leaders inspired them with. Well, it's not like it'd actually go that way. The American troops aren't fools either. They had sentries posted even in the dark of night. On top of that, we were kind enough to show up shouting, "Banzai, banzai," at the top of our lungs. You know, when a heavy machine gun starts firing all over the place, it gets really bright. The American troops immediately noticed the Japanese night raid and started firing with heavy machine guns. The repeating gunfire was enough to strip away the night's darkness. A group of Japanese troops charging together doesn't mean much against a machine gun emplacement. The men operating the American machine guns probably just had to sweep it left and right. Like a combine harvester mowing down a sugarcane field, the Japanese troops were just mowed down, slumping to the ground, one after another. As that happened, flares went up, and they weren't even able to hide in the darkness. You see, we went to drown in the swamp just so that we could receive our bullets from the Americans. And me, I sat on my butt, stunned, and surrounded by a crowd of my war buddies' corpses. Submerged in the sludge, up to my waist, I turned pale and dumbfounded by the feel of death so thick you could choke on it. I didn't want to die. I wanted them to let me live, and nothing else mattered. At that time, I was, without a doubt, a defeatist. When the American troops realized I was alive, they pointed their guns at me. It's funny. My friends who wanted to live got hit by so many bullets, and yet I, who was no better than dead already, was missed by so many bullets. 5 or 6 times, bullets landed right next to me. I could tell that the enemy troops were celebrating, laughing at this pathetic failure. It was clear they were playing a game, trying to see who could hit me first. I rose to my feet, with tears in my eyes, begging for forgiveness. I don't know whether my words reached them or not. They stopped using me as a target. They took me as a prisoner of war. The one who saved me was an American officer. He was probably the leader of their unit. They put a stop to the hatred and sneers directed at me by the American troops and welcomed me with a salute. I was glad. Looking back on it, I was pathetic. That feeling, as though that man had protected me. A feeling so strong I almost wanted to lick the bottom of his shoes right there. Yet another POW was brought over. He was a war buddy from my unit. His left shoulder appeared to have been shot. He staggered around with his hand on the wound. That officer welcomed my war buddy with a salute too. Though their countries were different, they were both soldiers who gave everything they had for their homelands. I believe that was the sort of respect he had. And then, when the officer offered his hand, my war buddy shouted banzai for the homeland and flew at him. In that instant, a red fog covered everything. My war buddy must have been hiding a grenade under his armpit. Surely, he had waited for this chance to take the highest-ranking enemy with him to the grave. I fell on my butt, covered with a bloody mist and the flying bits of organs, stunned. Both of their upper bodies had been smashed to atoms, leaving only their lower halves. This was a man who seemed to show respect for an enemy soldier like me, so I'm sure he must have been respected by all of his subordinates. The other man responded to someone who showed mercy to an enemy soldier by blowing himself up. It's not hard to imagine how angry the hearts of those Americans must have been. Wayne-kun, don't you think that man who blew himself up was admirable? He really was the same as you. His body may have been captured, but his soul certainly hadn't surrendered. At the end, he offered up his life to take another shot at the enemy. If I could, I'd like to blow myself up and take you with me. Yeah, I'm sure you could do it. Without a doubt, you are a brave man. Compared to that, what was I like back then? I pitifully begged for forgiveness, abandoning my duty to fight and protect out of concern for my own life. How brave was that war buddy who was able to die? How despicable was I who surrendered without dying? I was a foolish, terrible, defeatist pig, not worthy even to live. Still, you are alive. Who knows? Am I still the person I was before that day? I think I really was killed then. Until I was saved by Caleb and given a new life. I'm sure I was killed. You know, thanks to them, I'm getting killed every day.
Miguel-san, don't you think that's enough?
Every day. Every day. I constantly regret it. Every day. That I was ever born. That I didn't die. Miguel started to look more and more deranged, covered in an abnormal sweat, his hands scratched all over his body. The next time his eyes met Wayne's, they were thick with madness. Suffering means offering your life to your opponent, you see. So, if someone surrenders, they can't complain if they get killed. Only people who fight until they die are noble, and those who abandon that must be continually branded in the depths of hell for that dishonor. I will never surrender again to anyone in any way, no matter what. My war will never end until I fight and die, or until someone orders me, telling me that I don't have to fight anymore. And growled at Miguel, trying to pin his arms behind his back.
Miguel-san, calm down.
Don't look at me. Don't laugh at me. Kill me quickly. This time I'll fight until I die. Kill me. Kill me. Don't look at me. Don't look at me and laugh.
Miguel-san, calm down. The war is over. It's already over. Hey, give me a hand here. Take his knife.
For a while, Miguel writhed and screamed with a mix of anger, regret, and other emotions, still being held by the men. When it finally calmed down, his whole body was drenched with sweat. and his breathing was ragged. Sorry, everyone. I'm okay now. Let's take a break for the rest of the day. We'll take you to the hotel. Hey, someone get a car for Miguel-san. At that moment, Miguel suddenly pulled out his gun and placed the barrel up against Wayne's forehead. You are noble. I have to respect you. Is that so? Even I can't bear to have you suffer the humiliation of capture any longer. I'll pretend I got excited and accidentally killed you. We have another hostage after all. Even if we lose you, I'm sure Caleb will forgive me. I apologize for humiliating you with torture. To make sure you don't suffer any more humiliation, I'll end it here, by my own hands. Miguel. Miguel-san. What are you doing? A man suddenly appeared behind Miguel and held the arm with the gun. Forgive me. We have an order from Madame Amanda that this man be moved. From Amanda? Yes. The father has given his approval. Please understand. For a while, Miguel looked between the men and Wayne, and then slowly lowered his gun. I see. If Caleb ordered it, then it'll have to happen. I'm going home. I'm tired. See you again, Wayne-kun. We will meet again. And not too long from now. Just once. I'd like to have a drink with you. Someplace quiet. This is the first time I've ever wanted to have a drink with someone other than Caleb. Miguel left. Wayne was blindfolded, and then his chains were released, and he was carried to another place. And that's where I'm gonna take a break for a second, because, holy shit. That was a lot. That was a lot. I will be right back. Second time I hit the wrong button today, but, yes. Yes, we're back. It's all fine, it's all good. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, so that was, a lot. And, yep. I'm glad he did not pull the trigger. Amanda did a good thing for once. Mostly on accident. Good for us. Because for as much as I rag on Wayne, I don't want him to die. Yeah, I did not really expect that to be happening, but this game always kind of ends up surprising me in a lot of ways. Yeah, that got really tense. Still kind of like processing it in my brain. Hence the rambling. I kind of want to say poor Miguel because I feel bad for him, but at the same time, like, it kind of also turned him, like, he did not handle the fallout of all of that well. He probably had some options to make better choices, shall we say. Yeah, me neither. I don't think it's
I don't think we're expected to from the narrative either. So that's good. Especially because, like, he compares himself to Wayne, right? He's like, oh yeah, you're one of those, and I'm not like that, but I'm trying to be like that. But we've also seen Wayne really try to improve himself. So, Hmm. Yeah, they're doing like a compare and contrast thing there. Very much on purpose. And Wayne is definitely like turning things around, trying to, like, he saw the error of his ways and he's trying to improve. And Miguel's like, I'm gonna double down on this, hell yeah. And I find it kind of ironic that the reason that he is so traumatized is in large part because of the actions of his war buddy slash war buddies. And now he's here like, ah yes, I must help. I must help all my war buddies. I'm not, you know, but I kind of get the vibe that he still kind of doesn't really, like, he's just following Caleb's whole deal. I don't think he cares that much about the war buddies himself. He does also like straight up murder people, yes. But they didn't go to war, maybe. I don't think he asked every single person he killed, but. Well, no, actually, he mainly kills women. So, Or, no, he maims them, doesn't he? He doesn't kill them. He's just not a very good guy. And. And that's, you know. And that's okay, because if we wouldn't have any conflict otherwise, I guess. Meanwhile, Caleb is sighing. So, even the valiant General Caleb sighs pathetically every now and then. Girl, did you just call him pathetic? Okay, I'm not gonna judge y'all's relationship. I am actually. I think it's weird. I wasn't sighing. I was just breathing. I think it's weird, yes. For quite some time after the lights went out, Caleb was apparently unable to sleep. It says heard there, but I read it as beard. It's your fault, Cat. Amanda had also heard that traitors had started showing up. That had surely injured his heart, which was far more straightforward than it appeared, which kind of explains why he's so bad at, like, logicking things out. Wait, no it doesn't. Forget I said that, it made no sense. Amanda got up, poured some water from the pitcher into a cup, and handed it to Caleb. The larger your ideals are, the harder it is to see the peak through the mist from the bottom. There's no helping that some people won't be able to share your ideals. It's not the ideals they question, it's the methods. And they're not wrong to question them because they are correct that the methods are bad. Maybe Caleb would have turned out better if he didn't have these absolute dweebs who are just enabling all his bullshit. You know, if he'd had like a couple more people earlier on in all this plan starting to form in his head, who are like, wait, that makes stop it? Stop it. maybe none of this would have happened. But it did, and here we are. Well, that's right. I understand it logically. However, it's my responsibility to make them understand.
You're such a sentimentalist in bed.
You think so?
Jesus Christ, I don't want to read this. I'm a ruffian even in bed. Even in bed. I know that. Hey, stop that. That tickles, darn it. Sheesh.
Caleb rose to his feet. Ah! Look what came back! It's Stream Elements. Thank you for joining the party, Stream Elements. There's our content warning. A little late, but... yeah, he really... he's so hyper-focused on these war buddies, and his methods are all just focused on... you know, like you said, violence, basically. And he's like, I have to make them understand. Maybe I'll threaten them again, you know? Like, buddy, what did you think was gonna happen? Ah, yes, maybe we need to kill more people, then they'll understand. Yeah, it's... remember when I vaguely remember saying at some point that I wanted him to team up with Rose. That never had any chance of happening. That was never gonna happen. Yeah, everybody hates him now. Oh well. Caleb rose to his feet, opened the curtain slightly, and looked down over the nighttime city. Even though it was so late at night, the city that had forgotten how to sleep was lit up like noon with lights and neon signs. Lights and neon signs. Yeah, Caleb should definitely try emulating other people instead. But not the people around him because they all suck. Honestly, it's hard to tell, like, who started being the sucky one, and, you know, if they're the ones influencing him or him influencing them. It's all like a melting pot of suck. There's no time. I have to clearly show the results of our deal with the occupying forces as soon as possible. I want to make them see that wages for jobs are rising. Yeah, they already were before you did literally anything. You could have literally done nothing, and it would have been better. I'm sorry I'm so mad at him this episode, but it's because I'm so mad at him. I wonder how much they will rise. We'll cut out all the middlemen. It's possible that take-home pay will even double. I want them to be able to take home $500 for a full day of unloading at the harbor. Where can I get a job like that? Because you know the 100 million was like a ridiculous amount of money. Right? Except the harbor bit? Yeah, that's fair. So 400 to 500 must still be quite, that must be quite a lot of money. For a single day of work? Damn. Incredible. If wages got that high, everyone would be celebrating. This way, our war buddies won't just have enough money for food, but they'll be able to save up. And saving up money gives one the power to enrich their lifestyle. That's right. The men will work like hell. What? Take their pay envelopes home with pride. make a triumphant return to their homes, where their wives are waiting. What do you expect the women to do, Caleb? Just sit around? They'll be able to have homes. They'll be able to have children. We'll be able to take back everything we've lost.
If they're able to get paid that much, everyone will come back to City 23.
And they won't just be coming back. People will probably start moving here one after another from other cities. The city will prosper more and more. And that isn't all. Laborers will stop doing other jobs for low pay. As a result, you won't be able to hire people for pathetic wages. The greedy people in other cities will be forced to raise wages.
So, you'll be able to save people across Tokyo, not just in City 23.
That's true if the wages got that much higher. You know, inflation exists. It's true that the city has been laid waste now. Oh, so you admit it. However, that's because we're in the middle of taking one step backward to take 2 steps forward. Caleb, it's not jump off a cliff to take 2 steps forward, though. It's a step backward. Buddy.
I know. And I'm sure you'll make that happen.
Tomorrow is the day we take the money to Butler.
It's finally time, isn't it?
I'm not just a dog giving things away to the Americans. I'm taking a sword of 100 million Japanese dollars and making a raid on them.
You're handing them money. the sheer delusion is... good luck.
Yeah, you're giving away the sword.
I'm praying that you come back with good news.
Yes. Pray for me. Also, it's not a coincidence that Miguel was talking about a raid, like the night raid, that completely bombed, and then him referring to this raid like, I'm going to raid them with my sword and then give away the sword. That is not a coincidence. I don't think this is gonna go well. And then, the sun rose. Caleb took several guards and carried the vast sum of money into the occupying forces headquarters. Dang it, I wanted to see the outcome of that so bad. So, Caleb finally collected 100 million Japanese dollars. That amount's insane. Just how many people's he left crying?
Will Caleb-san be able to buy that special offers window?
This is only my personal opinion. However, I am expecting that the deal will not go through. Do you have some basis for thinking that? Most of City 23's special offers windows are controlled by American mafias. If this were a deal to hand those over to Caleb-san, high-ranking members from those American mafias should have come to Japan.
Haven't you seen any movement like that?
Nothing has reached my ears.
What does that mean? Are they going to start negotiations going forward?
This is a business with lots of money moving around. It's too late for something like that. Negotiations going forward? I put the emphasis wrong in that sentence, I think. Oh well. Matters might grow a bit more complicated.
Does it mean the occupying forces aren't going to make a deal with Caleb-san? But they're bringing the money there today, aren't they? certainly is strange. They've made reservations at a restaurant, but no one's there ready to make food. And even so, the customers are just walking in there with their money. Could that possibly mean...
Can they really do that? It'll mean all-out war between Caleb and the occupying forces, won't it?
Well, not if he's dead. We have information suggesting that the Caleb family is on the verge of splitting apart. I'm afraid to say it, but Caleb's son's ideals as a dragon are not shared among all his high-ranking subordinates. Because they make no sense. Exactly. It's no surprise. The plan he's drawn out has been grandiose, violent, and rushed.
Major-san, please tell me. What is going to happen now?
It might be that the sky will darken and rain will fall.
Rain.
And the rain might be red. There's a chance that war will break out between the occupying forces and the Caleb family.
There's no way a mere Japanese mafia could defeat the American army in a war.
I don't know. There is such a thing as a cornered rat biting a cat. If it grows into a disturbance large enough that the American army is mobilized, it is likely that many of those in charge of the occupying forces in our city will lose their heads. So even though they can't win, they can take their opponents down with them.
After all, there's a chance Caleb will try something crazy, hoping for an honorable death.
This is a very dangerous turn of affairs for City 23. I was just about to ask, where's Claudia?
Wayne-san, I'm so glad you're safe.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention this in the beginning, but there was the meeting with Amanda and Claudia. And basically Amanda saying that she would try to look after Claudia, right? I'm sure Leah would say something like, attractive men can't die.
It really is wonderful.
Don't forget that you're still hostages, you two. I'm sure even you would prefer sleeping in a bed than hanging from your arms in a cold storehouse, Wayne. You're the traitor who took over Roseanne's Primavera. I'll never forgive you. You dare talk to Madame Amanda that way, bastard? Oh, how scary. Claudia, please make some tea for him as well. Normally I would want to make it for him, but I'd rather not get drenched in scalding water.
Yes, Amanda-san.
Amanda-san. The atmosphere between Claudia and Amanda was reminiscent of the old peaceful days. To Wayne, Amanda was the traitor who sold Primavera to Caleb. However, Claudia seemed to have lost that feeling. Though that difference in attitude made Wayne hesitate for a minute, he decided to watch and wait for the time being. Well now, I'll take my leave. I've already said this before, but you two are still hostages, right? You probably noticed on your way here, but everywhere outside this room is filled with thugs. True. Trying to escape from this place would probably be tough. He glanced out the window. The street was lined with black cars and thugs glaring menacingly at passersby? The guard from Madame Amanda, Caleb's woman, seemed to be very heavy indeed. He thought about holding Amanda hostage, but at this moment, hold up, I accidentally set auto on. Their chances of victory didn't look high. Amanda and the guards left, so that only Wayne and Claudia remained, along with the scent of the black tea Claudia had made.
Amanda-san really isn't a bad person.
Why are you defending her? She's the traitor who took advantage of Rose-san being gone to sell Primavera to Caleb.
At first, I thought that too. But the truth keeps getting clearer to me.
What truth?
I think Amanda-san intentionally played the role of the villain because she had to.
The role of the villain?
From the moment we opposed the Caleb family, Primavera had no way to continue existing. If Primavera disappeared, the women would lose the only places for them to work.
Are you saying she sold Primavera to protect it?
She didn't sell it. I think she might have protected Primavera in Rose's place. It's true that there are a lot more scary customers at the club. Everyone's wages have dropped a lot. However, she made sure there was at least some place for ladies of the evening to work. If Amanda-san hadn't played the role of the villain, there would probably be a lot of girls wandering the streets now.
Then why doesn't she just say so? Why is it that she practically banished Stella-san and Meryl-san?
At first, I thought Amanda-san was a bad person too. It's only recently that I finally started to understand. I can't really explain it well with words, but, well, I'm sure that even now, Amanda-san acknowledges Rose as the true madam.
If she acknowledges Rose-san as the madam, why would she act the part of the villain? I'm too stupid to follow what you're saying.
Well,
the ladies of the evening had considerable pride. They couldn't bear to use up their earnings, even in exchange for their own protection, if it meant surrendering to threats. For example, if Rose had submitted to the Caleb family, many women would have lost hope in Rose. Primavera might have collapsed in an instant. However, unless it entered Caleb's umbrella, Primavera would be destroyed. If they lost Primavera, the women would lose a safe place to work. The ladies of the evening would have to get customers on the streets, like clutching to a buoy in a shark-filled sea. So it was necessary for someone to call themselves the next madam, and join forces with the Caleb family, fully aware that they would be hated for it. In that case, playing the role of the villain was vital. By being hated, it would mean that the women wouldn't acknowledge that person as their true madam.
in other words, Rose is still the true madam of Primavera. If Rose ever comes back to Primavera, she just needs to kick out the villain, Amanda-san. If Amanda-san wasn't acting the villain's part, factions would form and a fight would break out over who should be the madam, Rose or Amanda-san, right?
There would be a fight between those who acknowledged Rose as the madam, and those who acknowledged Amanda, who actually had protected Primavera, as the madam. So you're saying Amanda intentionally acted like she was evil, so that she wouldn't get in Rosan's way in the future?
I'm sure that's true.
Has Amanda said so?
No. But I could believe it.
honestly, had never considered that angle. But it fits, you know? Like, logically, it could totally be that. It could totally be the opposite. Like, she's evil and she sucks, but like that is rock solid logic right there. Should the father and the others be at the occupying force headquarters now? Yes. We can only hope that their dealings go well. And if they don't? The father says he plans to make a declaration of war to the occupying forces. Hey, you people. Do you really plan to fight a war against the American army? If the occupying forces break their promise, we are willing to do even that. You really are the model soldier, aren't you? Amanda's instinct after making it through several tough spots as a leader of many women told her that this deal wouldn't succeed easily. However, there were times that the desperate determination of men exceeded a woman's calculations. I hope you do exceed it, Caleb. After all, I'm betting on you. What does that mean? I lost my diamond. Do you see? I had a diamond before, it's gone now. Well, dang. Well, it was definitely there at the start. Oh well. I'll get it back one day. One day. Yeah, see, you can kind of, if you squint really, really hard, there's like a little blue dot in the save game. I'm using my mouse pointer to point it out, but you can't see my mouse pointer because that's not captured. Which is on purpose, but I'm pointing exclusively to myself. Dang, alright. You don't see the blue dot? Yeah, I'm not surprised. Well, I'll just have to prove it to you by regaining the little diamond. Next time. Because, my voice hurts. Again, it was a rough... I did a lot of talking today, so I can't go as long as I normally could. Well, that's not true. This is like time for a normal stream. I've been going over recently. So that's all fine. Not too much Meryl, that's true. That's true, but it did, the last time I did a Meryl line, it did sound a little, to me, hopefully the recording itself is not that bad, but it sounded like Meryl picked up a bit of a smoking habit, let's just put it that way. Oh well, I had fun this episode, it was really good. We learned a lot of new stuff. And next week is going to be exciting. She needs cigarettes after season 1, that's valid. But, At this point, that might be healthier than her drinking. But probably not. Hard to say. She must do both? Oh no, Meryl. She's so tiny too, like... I don't know. I don't know if that's healthy, it's probably not. Oh. Yeah, that's true. She does go all out, so... Let's hope she doesn't pick up any other bad habits. Okay, well. I will be back next week, Wednesday. We're going to play Viewfinder, or continue Viewfinder. We've been playing it already. Then on Thursday, there is going to be more Rose Guns Days, Season 2, Episode 3 this time.
in the meantime, keep an eye on the YouTubes, where I post shorts and upload Rose Guns Days videos and occasionally edited recordings or edited versions of streams. So lots to watch, but let's be real here, you're probably all gonna play Baldur's Gate 3, and so am I. Not right now, though. But yeah, tomorrow after work, I'm gonna be just sitting in that character creator until my friends are all ready to play. I already know what I'm gonna play too. I'm gonna play a Pathwork Druid. Because, why not? You'll also not be working while at work. Well, I actually have to work at work, sadly. But after work, all bets are off. You picked an origin character? Which one? Just before we go. This is just for me. Asteria. Do I know who that is? I've been trying to stay away from spoilers and stuff for the most part. The Rogue, oh, nice. Good pick. Yeah, it's all gonna be fresh and new to me for the most part. I've seen little bits here and there, but yeah, looking forward to that. But all streams are gonna be the usual business next week, so no worries there. And if you're too busy playing Baldur's Gate, there's always the VODs. It's gonna be lit, nice. I mean, it is, yeah. Alright. That's enough for me for today. Because talking equals ow. But have a good night. Have a good day tomorrow. Have a good week. I'll see you again soon, probably, unless I don't. Which is fine. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being in the chat, or lurking, or watching the VOD, whichever it is. I really, really appreciate it. See you again soon, and bye-bye.